Oops.
Welcome for the first time to the Electric Vibe podcast. I'm Kurt Hoffman, your co host. First and foremost, Happy New Year and welcome to Vibe 25. We're celebrating the year 2025 with the Electric Vibe. To my left is my smooth voiced brother from another mother, known as
I am J. David Silva, the Electric Man. Hello, Kurt.
Jay. Happy New Year. Of course, you and I keep in constant contact, but it's the first time us actually seeing one another, at least virtually. This has been a year already.
Sure has.
Some challenges, some adversity. The California wildfires, I just have to throw that out there because there's a lot of people in the purple community that are suffering, and not just that, but many folks out there. LA is just getting ravaged, and our hearts go out to anybody watching this in real time, and our hearts and minds go out to you, and thoughts and prayers go out to you. So that's just wanted to
Absolutely.
say that. Jay, but we do have a special guest all the way from the UK who has graciously given us his time. And can you tell us who we're going to have on today, Jay?
I sure can. And Kurt, you and I have been hinting about this guest for a while.
Yes, we have.
The time is finally here for us to welcome musician and songwriter Ellis Barraclough to the Electric Vibe. Kicking off our Vibe 25 campaign, this talented young man was born and raised by a family of musicians in the historic seaport of Hull in the UK. Ellis began playing guitar at the age of 7. Kurt, he wrote his first song at the age of 12, if you can
Yeah,
believe that.
yeah.
Now that he's at the ripe old age of 19, Ellis has progressed from local gigs and neighborhood bars to performing select dates in London. And I'm sure that he's going to be branching out into other areas. Ellis was also invited last year to support Ocean Color Scene for their tours. So that is just a big deal. Ellis is an extremely prolific songwriter. He already has 3 albums in the making. We're going to be talking about that and so much more. This young man is definitely on the way up, and the Electric Vibe is honored to welcome Ellis J. Barraclough to the Electric Vibe podcast.
All right. And coming in with a screen, don't be confused by the name Vincent Garcia. That is.
Me?
That's right. There you are, Ellis. Ellis, welcome to the Electric Vibe. How do we find you today, young man? How are you keeping?
I'm keeping very well and very happy to be here. Very happy to see you finally.
Yeah, and we put you in the green room, or as I said to you earlier, timeout, so that Jay could do his intro for you before coming on. And we're just really grateful to you, your manager, Vincent Garcia, and we would be remiss if we did not say thanks to Haley Drinkle from your hometown for connecting us all together. And we're just thrilled that you were able to make this time difference work and what have you. So thanks for coming on, Ellis.
Oh, well, thank you so much for inviting me. The time difference is no problem either. It's just going for a curry. So
There you go.
yeah.
Jay, would you care to take us off?
I sure would. Ellis, while you were in the green room, one of the things I had mentioned during your intro is that you're helping us kick off what we're calling Vibe 25, and that is the Electric Vibes celebration of the year 2025. We're honored that you are our first guest. Again, as Kurt said, thrilled to have you here. And we'd like to start off with your background. Obviously, I know you come from a musical family. Can you tell us a little bit about your upbringing, growing up in Hull, and how your musical journey started?
Yeah, I sure can. Um, Obviously, I have got a very musical family. I think Barraclough is a bit of a name in the whole music scene. Um, Everyone plays and we all sing, we all go around to my granddad's house on Boxing Day and we just have a family concert basically. It's just we're all very musical. So I think being witness to that, is that a saying?
Sure.
Being being around that environment, it just like consolidated in my mind that there was nothing else that I'd rather do in my life than to just make music because why the hell not? It's music. Music is everything. Yeah.
Who was your biggest influence in the family growing up, or inside or outside of the family, Ellis?
Well, my uncle James, hello. Hi, James. He was in a big band called the Dirty Dreamers, big in Hull. And the granddad, and the mum, and just everyone. But I think I looked up to my uncle and my granddad quite a lot because they were the guitar players. Um, Everyone else was singers, so I thought I want to do that.
Mhm.
What was your first guitar? Was it a hand-me-down or was it on the Never Never?
It was, oh wow, no, actually, the first my first ever guitar I've still got now. It's um it's the same make as this one here, a Norman, but it's black. And I got it when I was 7 or 8. And I mean, it was huge on me back then. It's quite a big guitar now, so like before I couldn't even get my arm around it. But yeah, no, I've still got that one. And it's a beautiful guitar.
So, Ellis, you've actually been playing guitar since 7 or 8. Did it come naturally to you?
I don't, I don't know really. I just, well, I think I first learned guitar on one of them old, really like cheap £10 nylon classical guitars. So you could fret the strings with a piece of paper that week. So it wasn't really
Yeah.
a thingy. But the first song I ever learned was "Time of Your Life" by Green Day. And
Oh,
I can remember playing. This was the first time I'd ever played like in front of like people who weren't my family, and I moved into a new school. The through like later end of primary school. I don't know what that is in the American
elementary
school.
school, primary school. We get that. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, yeah. And then going into secondary school, so high school. So my whole secondary school I spent in a little town outside of Hull called Ellerton.
Okay.
So Ellerton and Brough, they're sort of like conjoined together. And yeah, I played when I first moved to there and I got into the primary school, I played Time of Your Life for the first time. And I'm still really good friends with quite a lot of the people that were in that classroom. So
Nice.
do something right.
Now, did you perform that on a talent show of sorts, or how
I
how
just
did that?
I think my teacher just had a guitar in his cupboard and he got it out and I just like stood up and was like, can I have a go? I know how to do that.
Oh, how cool! And he let you perform in front of the class.
Yeah, yeah.
Who was
I
the
think
who
it
was the who
would
was
have
the
been
teacher? We
very
liked it.
it was called Mr. Marsden and he was absolutely amazing.
Cool.
Everyone loves him. Everyone. I don't know whether he's still working, but Mr. Marsden, if you're seeing this, then I made it. I'm on like that.
No, that's great to give a shout out to the teachers because we talked to Haley Drinkle, who connected us together with you. She talks about her musical memories and connecting with a teacher that was really, a music teacher that was really seminal in her life. And usually that's often the case with a lot of performers that some either a teacher or father figure or maternal
Yeah,
figure, factors in there.
yeah, definitely. Teachers, I think if you have a really good music teacher,
Mm,
um, who has a lot of patience with you, then you've got a very good start to being a musician, I think.
definitely.
Plus, so we also understand that you wrote your first song at the age of 12. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Uh, yeah, I think it was 12 or 15. If we're talking about Never Die, which was the sort of first song, and I wrote that when I was 15. I'd written songs before that, but they weren't uh, you know, as popular as Never Die. And I had a crush. Obviously, this is the first time you have a musician's first song is always about a girl, and yeah,
Sure,
that song
sure.
"Never Die" came out of me, and then I was just like, whoa, whoa, oh, I can actually do something with this guitar and my voice instead of just being
Yeah.
recreationally. I could actually put some elbow grease into this.
Right.
So yeah, that was the song that made me like, yeah, I'll crack on with this, I think.
You gotta love it. Hormones do funny things to the arts to the
Yeah.
arts. And,
Right.
and, and hey, he or she who didn't try to wax poetic and become a troubadour because of a crush. I've written several songs. Nobody's ever seen the light of, none of which have seen ever seen the light of day, but I get it.
Honest,
Yeah.
I could write a song about, I don't know, a wall or a window pane, and it somehow managed to root back to me writing about a girl. I don't know how it happens. It's just that every song manages to always just like go straight back.
Well,
Wait a couple decades when you get married.
yeah, right. Have a lot more material
Ooh, you're gonna have a lot to write about, brother.
in a good way, in a very good way.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
So, Ellis, that's a nice segue into talking about inspiration. Because I know
Yeah.
we're a little bit of a laugh about your first song being based on a crush, but where do you draw inspiration when you're songwriting?
I think the song that I'm playing, if I've just written if I've just wrote it or written it, if I've just created it and I'm playing the riff, um, I think that is what inspires me. I think music does something to me, if you know what I mean, and it makes me like if a specific sounding riff or song will make me think of something specific, and I'll just write about whatever that is. I don't know why. Just like, if it's quite like a song like Sunscreen for it, it's really kick back and relax. I thought, oh, I was gonna kick back and relax, sitting on a pier with a nice cold beer. Do you know what I mean? It's just like
Hmm.
however the song sounds, I rarely think of what I'm going to write about before I write it, to answer your question.
Yeah, yeah, and that was actually going to be my next question because can you talk a little bit about your process? So you're not thinking about writing a song until you're actually doing it, but are you consciously sitting down saying, I'm going to write now, or does it just come out of an experience?
That's a brilliant question because more recently, you know, as I've realized that my songs might have a bit of value in some time. Um, there's a little bit of pressure that comes onto you whilst you're trying to write a new song because you think, oh no, this could be an important one. Whereas before, I wrote half of the songs that I have now before I even met Vince. So they were just me dossing about in my bedroom, just with the guitar in my hand and just letting it all pour out, without any thought of who's going to hear it because it don't matter because I was writing it. Um, so yeah, I think now it's a bit different, yeah, but like not in a bad way. So yeah, sorry, your question was just remind me of your question again. Sorry,
Actual
TV.
process, yeah, no worries. You're into a process. I mean, is it I'm going to sit down and write today, or is it just a block of time, or how do you sit down at
Sometimes I do that, and I think, what, I'll write a song today, but I can't do it like that. I don't know why. It's just like
So
if I get
inspiration
into a
has to
little,
strike.
yeah, I have to get into a little bit of a flow state with the guitar, if you know what I mean, before I can. Because if I start thinking about it too hard, I start saying things that just make absolutely no sense. Happens sometimes when I start talking for a long time as well.
So have you ever sat down and tried to write a song? You come up with a great riff, but you're just at a complete loss as what to write on top of it. Are there any examples of that in your catalog that you could tell
There
us?
is actually, and that song is out. It's called Sunscreen. Listen to
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it. Yeah, I wrote that song ages ago. I think it was about 2 years ago. And so obviously it's the da-na-na-na. I started the opening verse with the sitting on a pier with an ice cold beer in my um and after that I was just I couldn't think of what the hell to do with it. And I tried so many different variations. I mean, one of the variations I'm actually thinking about just writing as a song in itself. Um, because it's just that many of them. And in the end, I thought, oh, screw this. I just looped all the way back around to the first idea I had and just followed along with it. And then that's what became Sunscreen. It took me about a year to finalize it since I first penned the riff.
With technology being the way it is, Ellis, do you do a lot of voice memos where you're like, oh, something, oh my God, I got to put this down right away and either
My
sing
camera
into the
roll,
phone if you don't have a
yeah,
guitar handy or what have you? Yeah.
my camera roll is probably full of thousands of 30-second black videos of just noise. of just me playing guitar because I've got the camera on a surface, like not recording myself. You know what I mean? Just like
Yeah, yeah.
constantly recording little ideas like that and never go back to any of them. So I've just got a catalogue of just a lot of stuff on my phone that could be, I don't know, could
That
be.
you could potentially refer back. Wow.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. If I'm ever, I'll just, yeah.
Which, Ellis brings me to my next question because Kurt and I are so impressed with the fact that we learned that you are very prolific in your songwriting. I understand that you have quite a bit of, as you were just talking about, you have quite a bit of material, I think, that you have recorded or are recording. I heard somewhere it was almost 3 albums worth. Can you talk a little bit about that, about how prolific you are?
Yes. Well, I'm going to talk about how prolific I am. I don't even know what prolific means. What does it mean?
Meaning that you're just writing, you can write a number of songs, you have a number of songs, so you write and record.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Oh, well, thank you. I right. So we've recorded one whole one so far. Um, 11 tracks, all completely finished, and we're now 90% of the way through finishing the second one. Um, and then after we finish that one, I'm getting into the territory of having to write material. Whereas before, I already had it all, if you know what I mean. So this third album is going to be a different experience from what it has been because now I'm going to have to be like, right, well, we've got 6 empty spaces where songs should be. I need to actually put something in there, which I haven't already got. I would show you, I mentioned this before, that I've got a sneak peek of a song from the second album, but it might have to wait for a bit because the computer's turned off and I don't know the password, which is a bit of a problem.
Just play it on your guitar.
Well, and I
I'm,
was just,
I'm going to play some different ones for you.
Oh, sure,
well,
that's
and,
fine.
and that is actually a great lead in because if you would be so kind, Ellis, would you mind playing us something?
Of course I would. What am I saying now? Right. Sorry, I had to have a look at which ones I'm doing now.
Ooh, that's a
This,
nice guitar there. What kind of guitar are we working with there?
this is an Eastman. It's a
Oh,
funny
yeah.
story actually. This guitar came about because I was using the Norman, my first ever guitar, what we were talking about before, for
Yeah.
gigs. And that wasn't built electric acoustic, it was just built acoustic. And Grandad drilled a hole through the back to fit in a pickup and
So
everything.
strap,
And
yeah.
it worked fine, yeah. But it wasn't working properly on stage. It kept cutting out. So I went to go pick up a new Gibson, a J15, from a
Ooh,
town called
nice.
Selby, near me. And it was crap. So we swapped it out for this one at a music store. It's literally just a pure trade. It's really lovely because the brand is called Eastman, and I don't, they're not niche, but they're not amazingly popular, I don't think. And they know about me using the guitars, and they have me like playing on the speakers in the shop, which is just really lovely. So I get to
Cool.
really that.
Cool.
Right, I will do a song for you. Am I just doing one and then we're moving on, or am I just?
Yeah, sure.
Do what you want to
And
do.
then we have a bunch more questions for you, but
Oh, yeah, well, I'll just do the one now then. This song is called "Do You Like It?" Here, okay.
Can we just for a second? Right. Okay, so we were having some technical issues, which once the illustrious Vincent Garcia, your manager, shows back up, we will make sure we get some kind of recording or do it at a later juncture. Which
But either way,
it
get
it's the
some.
local color that we enjoy here so much at the Electric Vibe. Technology is great when it works.
right.
So and
Yeah.
believe me, Jay and I had this discussion about looking for new technology software for our future episodes, and that's definitely one of the reasons why said company we don't want to take anybody off.
But so,
Uh,
having Ellis, having mentioned Vince, can you talk a little bit about your relationship working with Vince and him managing you?
Yeah, so I met Vince for the first time, one of the first times I ever came to London. And I know him because he used to live up near where I live now, and him and my granddad are good friends, and they met there. He used to own a pub called the Fox and Coney, which is used to be down the road from where I used to live. Um, yeah, so my granddad met him there, and they've just been friends ever since. And I think after I started writing, my granddad was like, I, we were all like, okay, when's it gonna stop? And then when it didn't stop, it was like, right, okay, we need to actually do something with this now. So my granddad got in touch with Vince, and that's when, yeah, and then we've just been very close ever since.
That's great. That's great. And Vince has been, nothing but accommodating to Kurt and I, and we're very, very
Yeah.
grateful to make his acquaintance. And of course, I mean, I didn't realize that Vince was who he was until I put two and two together and said, Vince, Bone, real love. I mean, from
Yeah.
back in the 90s, I said, my goodness. And I was a huge fan. So I had to have my fanboy moment when and I literally texted, I said, Vince, I didn't realize that was you. So.
Wait a minute. Now I'm today years old when I just learned that myself, Jay. As you know, I've been busy with my new job. Really?
Yes,
Yeah,
that is Vince Garcia.
Rise of Bone.
Yep.
Oh,
So,
well,
It's a little bit out of my era, but nothing stops you from being nosy, does it?
no, right.
no.
Yeah.
So, how does that influence, obviously Vince's background, Ellis? How does that influence when you all are working together? Can you talk about the collaboration?
Yeah, he helps me in some of the well, most of the songs that I bring to the table. He has his opinions and I have my opinions, and we always sort of meet in the middle, if you know what I mean. But my
Hmm.
opinions, I feel like, are more like because I'm so used to how it's sounding. Obviously, when you bring it to a main studio, I mean, if you've recorded it from an iPhone, if you start doing it properly, of course, it's going to sound different. But because I become attached to like the ones that I record on my own,
Yeah.
um, it's a little bit hard to see them sort of go through the progress of becoming what they will eventually end up being. But
Yeah.
that end product will always be unbelievable. It's a bit hard to see it in the little awkward phase in between where it's not really a song yet, but it
Mhm.
Yeah.
sounds like it should be, if you know what I mean. But yeah, so he helps me with getting the structure to how it is, and some little lyric changes and stuff like that, structurally. But yeah, we have a similar music taste anyway, so it's good on that end.
Sounds like a great collaboration.
It
And
is.
the other acts that you've been an opener for, we'll talk about Ocean Color Scene, particularly Simon and Oscar, right, from Ocean
Yeah.
Color Scene. I don't believe they had a big market here in the States, but I mean, I do remember them from the late 90s. And I think the last time they put an actual proper album out was 2013, if I'm not mistaken. But
Yeah.
um,
Oh, I don't know about that, but
I don't either. I
yeah.
thought that was the last time I saw them have any credits on an album. But
Well,
how has that whole ride been with them?
it was the well was I don't know whether it still is going to be, but it is one of the best things ever. I absolutely loved it, and I mean, I'm so lucky to actually have gotten the opportunity to not only just play for Simon and Oscar and Ocean Colour Scene, who I already absolutely loved before I got the opportunity to play with them, but I got to make friends with them, after spending a lot of time with them. And I think that was the reward, to be honest, to be able to
Sure.
actually be
Yep.
friends with who I've been listening to on my headphones. Obviously, the the actual performing side of it has been unbelievable too because I've learned how to grow as a not only a performer but like just handling nerves and stuff like that. It
Sure.
was a massive, massive and very important thing to happen. I'm really happy that it did and hope it keeps on happening.
We do too.
Yes,
You also got to open for Tom Dolby, who I was
Yeah,
in. Yeah. So was that for a shorter run than
that
with
was
the
one gig, yeah. Um it was in oh my God, I might actually get this right, which is weird. It was in the O2 Academy in Islington. Oh,
Okay,
God.
yeah,
But no. Yeah. Um, and yeah, it's such a different music genre to what I do. So I was
sure.
so sort of puzzled as to so the way he did his gig was he plays his songs on his like decks and he's
Yep,
got like a headset microphone that he uses to sing with, but
yep,
he's also got like a whiteboard behind him with his music video playing at the same time.
yeah.
If you don't know
Jam
Thomas
set.
Dolby, which I didn't before I did the gig, it's like
Sure.
it's 80s experimental dance music. Or I don't know,
Oh,
but
yeah.
it's
Right.
very different and like avant-garde. So
We had we the he is actually still a pivotal figure in music technology. And funny enough, the my where I went to grad school is where he teaches several courses at Peabody Conservatory in Baltimore, Maryland, actually.
oh really?
Yes, he does. Yeah, and would love to get him on the podcast because he's into whole music technology, marketing. He has a whole business outside of
Yeah.
music. But for those of us who grew up in the '80s, he's on Foreigner's Foreigner 4 album. Those are his keyboard synth techs on Waiting for a Girl Like You and Urgent, Jukebox Hero, and he's
Yeah.
on Def Leppard's Pyromania album.
Oh, is he?
Yes, he is. That's all the synth texts, the synth textures that are on there. That's him playing because he was an
Is he
it guy, session guy.
yeah. Oh, wow, I didn't know that.
There
Yeah.
you go. Well,
Probably
I,
one of the most fascinating things I ever saw Thomas Dolby do was when he was the keyboard player for David Bowie at
oh my
Live
God.
Aid back in 1985, and it
right.
was his performance on Heroes was just brilliant. And
Yeah.
you having the opportunity to open up for someone like that is a testament, I think, to obviously your craft and your talent.
You see, I didn't know that. Yeah, that he opened for David Bowie, and
Yeah,
that's
he was actually playing.
He
He
was
was
actually
part of
part of the band at that point. Yeah, that's
the
right.
band
Yeah.
at Live Aid back in 1985.
Oh,
So,
right, right. For what? For Wembley. Right.
Wembley,
well.
right?
So was his guitarist. Oh, what's his bloody name? But he was from Hull. Half the
Not
band
Mick,
were from Hull.
not Mick Ronson.
Mick Ronson was
Yeah.
Yeah,
from Hull. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. And I think Ian Hunter as
Oh,
well.
so,
God,
yes.
sure.
He was from Hull. No, but I can remember being stood back to Thomas Dolby. I was stood in the sound check, and he was doing all his bits, and he was doing that song that goes "Du- du- 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 du-
Yeah.
du," and I was
Hyperactive. Hyperactive, I
that's the
think.
one. And he was doing the music video in the background. It was a real weird like stop motion music video, and I was like,
Uh-huh. Hmm.
"What the hell is going on right now?"
Ellis, can we go back to you and live
Yeah.
performances? And you said how, you had to overcome nerves and things like that. What is the experience like for you in front of a live audience? The energy, how do you feed off of that?
It's changed a lot since I started. The first gig I ever did, I was a wreck, and it was in a theatre in Hull called the Hull Truck, and it was for um, Lucy Beaumont. If you've heard of her, she's like a writer and a comedian from Hull, but she's pretty famous in that scene in England anyway.
I I've heard of
Uh,
her because there was when I was looking up Hull accents and how go home and all that. Yeah, I can't remember.
yeah.
I think he calls himself
Um,
English Papa something. He's on YouTube, but he used her comic stand-up bits to explain how to do the whole accent. Yeah,
wow.
yep,
God,
yep.
that's really cool, actually. Hopefully, I get to replace that role at some point.
Oh, you're gonna teach it. We're gonna have a whole other episode where you can give us some whole slang. That would be
That is
great.
really funny. Yeah, no, but I was supporting her because she was doing like a reading of a book or something, and I was really, really nervous. I was because it was my first ever gig, and this was 300 people.
And opening for her though, that's crazy.
Well,
Yeah,
my she's friends with my mum. That's why.
connections. That's how it works, baby.
Facebook does everything. And, and compare that, well, exactly. And then you compare that to like my recent ones with Ocean Colour Scene, and yeah, I've just changed so much in a way that it's like I'm craving to be nervous, if you know what I mean. If
Sure.
Oh,
it's
I
some
get
kind of
it.
fun, I'm like, oh, I don't
Yep.
feel a thing going on. I want a bit of nerves, if you know what I mean. But yeah,
May that never leave you, because there's some people who get jaded in this business, and somehow, the thrill is the same when I step on it doesn't matter whether you're playing for 5 or 5,000 people.
yeah,
It's the same.
yeah, because you're still in
Yeah.
front of an instrument and you're still completely to the mercy of the audience, if you know what I mean. But
Sure. Yep.
thing that you've got to get into your head is that they're there to just have a nice time anyway. So if you're
Yeah.
having a nice time, then there you go.
It
Right.
translates. Yeah, you got to have intestinal fortitude or testicular fortitude doing what you do. And
That
particularly if it's just you and not your band. I'd actually like to talk about your bandmates too, because
yeah,
depending on the gig, do you do it solo and sometimes do it with the band? Is it
yeah.
just
I've done
you often?
it's 90% of the time just me, but I've I've had a few different bands or groups. Well, not group because it's there's nothing ever
Like a
been official.
trio.
Yeah, I performed in the Soho Pizza Express Jazz Bar.
Right.
Um, a band of good session musicians, but the drummer plays on my album tracks, and he also plays bass. Um, and the guitarist Tommy, he lives in LA now. So yeah, but that was really good, and I only did a few gigs with them, and then sort of in the middle of the Ocean Colour Scene and Simon and Oscar tour, um, Oscar's son Leon and his friend Chris kindly played with me
Oh,
um,
cool.
on stage, which was really, really good and really fun, and it sounded great. But yeah, I absolutely love performing with a band because it takes some of the pressure off me.
Sure.
It gives you cushion. It gives you and it gives you something to feed off of too. If the
Exactly.
audience, because right now at your stage of your career, you're opening for people, so they're not necessarily, unless they followed you, through all your gigs that you've done since day
Yeah,
one. You've got that cushion and you've got that exchange of energies with a group. And there's a
yeah.
power and economy when you're a small group like that. It's like a string quartet or whomever. Doesn't matter what the configuration is.
I think it's like everything's more powerful in numbers, if you know what I mean. But
Mhm.
I'm definitely if I'm playing with a drum and a rhythm or a bass, it just gives me a nice little stand to,
Yeah,
take it away from what I mean, because I know it's going to sound so much bigger to the audience
yeah.
having it just been me.
Well, when you record your albums, you do all the instruments, correct?
Yeah, so, well, no, not all of them, no. I
Okay.
when I'm at home, when I'm recording on my earphones, when I just do it by myself, I do everything. But when I'm recording them properly in London, I only play the guitar and sing. The
Okay.
rest is, the session musicians and
Okay.
good friends, stuff like that.
Cool. What studios are you working in these days?
I'm working in the Hoxer in Hampstead. Hoxer HQ, it's called. Brilliant studio, really good. The room upstairs has just got everything you can imagine times two.
Ooh.
Every type of guitar. There's about 100 guitars up there, honestly. I've probably played them all twice.
Nice.
So like a kid in a candy store, right?
Oh God, 100%.
Wow.
Ellis, one of the things I wanted to ask, I just want to take it back to your live performances because Kurt and I have heard that there's been some amazing feedback from the audiences, particularly after your gigs. What's the experience like meeting your fans and interacting with them?
Yeah, it's a real weird one because I don't feel like I'm at a point yet where I deserve to have fans. Oh, well, not that sounded really sad. I didn't mean it like that. But like, it's like if someone comes up and they say, I'm a fan, it's like, should I have them? Is what, what's going on? But it's just if you enjoy and if you like what I do, then there's nothing stopping me from, I don't know. It's just amazing, yeah. But I always at the end of the performances, especially on the Simon and Oscar tour, I do a little bit of merch afterwards, so it's a good opportunity to be able to sit and talk with my fans for a bit, if you know. And I
Good.
actually met someone from Hull when I was playing in Scotland. Completely weird.
Wow.
Well, they get around.
Oh,
There you
not
go.
from Hull either. We live like down the street from each other. Weird.
Wow.
So
Speaking of
weird.
touring, either with a band or alone, have you ventured outside the UK? Have you done any gigs in, I don't know, Germany, France, anything
No,
like that?
well, Scotland counts. Oh, and
Yeah.
I did Italy actually.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
well, I went to Italy to record Sunscreen. Go listen to it now. Ellis J. Barraclough. Um, because my photographer Luca lives there, and he's really nice, and he said, "Yeah, come down." And we recorded the music video for Sunscreen and did a nice little gig there. It was really brilliant.
Cool.
That's
I've seen his name in the credits because he also does your video
right.
Yes, yeah,
as
yeah.
well, right? Yeah. No, and great job too. I mean, it's amazing with technology. You have, if you had done this 30, 40 years ago, if you'd been born 30, 40 years ago, just to make a video would have cost
I
$75,
know.
$100,000
Now you can
for a
just grab your
cheap one.
crack on, can't you? Yeah.
It's yeah, there's positive ends of technology and not so positive.
Well, it's
Um,
funny because all of the old sort of style of technology is all coming back round now as if it's like all cool and vintage.
Right.
You know
Right.
what I mean? Polaroids and just old video cameras. You don't, you but you wouldn't see someone using a big magnet TV screen, would you anymore?
no. Or cassettes. I can't believe people are
Yeah.
actually buying cassettes again. They're such crap. Jay and I will kind of test cassettes for crap audio.
Did it not
They
sound
were
good?
they were handy before CDs and cheaper than CDs when CDs first came out. Oh my God.
Yeah.
But um, what are your thoughts on the way that technology has progressed? I mean, in a positive aspect, you can record as many tracks as you want. You don't have to worry about cutting tape. You can do things over again, which,
Yeah.
can be a
You know what?
positive. But
It,
with
so
AI and all these new different things coming through with people writing lyrics with Chat GPT and things like that.
I
What's
know
your take
that's
on it?
sacrilege. It's
Yeah.
total sacrilege. Yeah, I wouldn't ever do that. And you know what? In an ideal world as well, I'd happily say that I wish there was just, no phones and very minimal amount of technology. Um, but on the other end of the stick, I really do rely on it with what I do in music. So it's a tough world, but I suppose all you can do is just be grateful that you're living in it. Um, but I think if I made the money, I'll probably end up going out in nature and just spending a few years up there, just with no technology at all. I've always wanted to do that, and then just see what changes.
Go in the Welsh countryside.
Yeah, or Scottish. Oh, I really want to go to Norway actually. I don't know
Oh,
why. Because I love Viking culture and stuff like that. I spent some time in the
uh,
fjord.
that it's going to be cold.
I'm used to it. It's fine.
It's cold here too, believe me. Uh,
You know what else? I wanted to talk about something, and when the way that we became acquainted with you was through again Haley Drinkall, and we had an interview with her. It was wonderful, and we were doing kind of like a debrief after that, and she had mentioned you, and we immediately looked you up, and we started watching your videos, and quite frankly, I'll just be honest, we became fans, and
Yeah.
we were talking about Cat Glover and how Kat was very impressed with you. And Haley
Yeah.
said something that Kat had told her. I'm going to paraphrase, and I hope I don't get it wrong. That apparently Kat thought that if Prince was aware of you, he would have been all over you. And that I
Um,
think is a testament to your talent, to your songwriting, to your ability. We see it already, as I'm sure that
yep.
there's thousands of other people that do as well. But you're definitely in good company with a comparison like that.
I Haley when Haley told me that, my heart sunk to the floor. Honestly, that's one of the best things I've ever been told in my life, that Prince would have liked me. You know, it's unbelievable, really is.
Well, it's not surprising when you think about the fact that one of his main influences and through his entire career was Joni Mitchell, who, like you,
I'm gonna say
singer
that.
songwriter plays guitar. So, you
I
know,
absolutely love Joni Mitchell, and
yep,
one of Prince's favorite songs of all time is "Help Me" by Joni Mitchell, and it's one of mine as well.
that and a case of you.
Like,
Yeah,
right, both right, and
I
he
dare
even
say case of you
I
is
love it.
referenced
probably,
Help Me
yeah,
in the Ballad of Dorothy Parker. So
Parker. Yep.
Yeah,
I'm impressed by that. That's a great lineage between
Yeah.
the
Hey,
generations.
but
and my parents, well, my mum loves Prince. So like the Purple Rain album would be on a few times, if you know what I mean. So like
mhm,
to hear that, I mean, even if it like I wouldn't go to say Prince was an influence to me, but I would definitely say he was involved in like my musical upbringing.
Mhm.
So to
sure.
hear that from what Cat Glover said about him thinking that that Prince would be all over me. It's like, oh well, shit.
Right.
Right. Believe me. Anyway, but again, he championed the performers that were out there just themselves
Right.
because he could do
Yeah.
that. He did. In fact, I think some of the highlights, and Jay, you can attest to this because you've seen him. The highlight of ever seeing him live was either when he was alone at the piano and would just
Mm.
run through stuff. And at the end of his life, what did he do? He went on a solo tour, just
Right.
piano and a microphone, and or at the guitar, particularly when he did the musicology tour, the 2000 Forever tour, and he just sat down at the acoustic guitar playing stuff like Cream and all his. You know,
Yeah.
Right. Right.
I
I'd
I
love to.
love a solo show. It's you're naked in front of the audience, but
I
it,
never got
it,
that
it well, no, well, yeah, no. But
far.
but 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 like you're exposed to the audience in a way that you're just bearing your soul and your heart and what have you, and it's just you. And again, no comfort zone, no cushion, no trampoline at the end of the high wire act. There, it's you.
That
You
is a
know.
massive important thing to happen to you because it gets you tempered to the cold. If you know what I mean?
Yep.
I don't know why, I don't know why I use that specific saying, but it gets you used to wearing, being vulnerable in front of,
Yep.
a lot of people.
Let me speak
Inspiration
to
can
that.
come from that. Sorry,
I'm
Jay.
going to that just for a moment, Ellis, because when I first started looking at your works, and I was on YouTube, and Kurt and I were doing our studying, just to see you alone with the guitar, is quite frankly, it's transcendent. And one of the
Yep.
things that I had said like a teaser video that we did that you were going to be coming on the Electric Vibe was that your songwriting is mature, your performing, it's contemplative, it's thoughtful. And in this day and age, when quite frankly, a lot of the music that's out there is AI driven or it's Drek, it's refreshing to see what you do and to see how well you do it. So, again, I mean, Kurt and I really think that there's big things ahead for you, and
Absolutely.
we are just happy to be along for the ride.
Yep.
That's so lovely to hear, and I would be absolutely honored um, to, continue, and I'm so happy to be along with the Electric vibe, especially if yeah, I just can't believe it.
Yeah, yeah.
Appreciate it.
I think it's going to be
Yeah.
a great
The
partnership.
honor is ours. Believe me
Right,
when we tell you. We'll say you remember when.
right. Remember when?
Yep. This is a remember when moment, and I hope
Yeah,
Right.
you'll definitely
it's
come back. We'll have you on. And we
totally
got to
mean
get
that.
you to the States. Folks listening, he's got to come to the States. City
Please have.
Winery. Heed the call.
We've already started plotting. We were talking offline before we
Yeah.
started recording
Yes, we did.
about some places that we'd like to assist you with, and I'm quite sure we can have conversations with Vince down the road. But this is just the beginning of, I think, what's going to be a wonderful
Yeah.
hope partnership and friendship, quite frankly.
Keeping my fingers crossed to that because of that I
Yeah.
would absolutely love that. Yeah.
This has been an absolute treat for us, Ellis, and we're grateful for your time and just that you graced the Electric Vibe as our first guest of Vibe
Which I'm
25.
on. So
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I hope to be on a lot more of the Electric Vibe interviews and 100%. Yeah, and it's been I I love it as well because it's whenever I do interviews, it's only like just my voice, but I feel like I'm actually talking to someone face to face.
Yeah, good.
Oh,
Well,
easy.
we listen. We try to do our homework too when it comes to, somebody that either somebody that we've known intimately well. We want to make sure we do our homework and learning background about things outside of what they do. So
Mm.
when you're not playing music, what do you like to do when you're not playing music and you're not worrying about writing, recording? What kind of hobbies or things you like to
Listening
do?
to
Okay,
music. No,
okay.
I I go to the gym, not very successfully, but I try and keep in shape. Um,
It doesn't get
I'm
easier as you get older, kiddo.
and
Keep it up.
I'm on my I play on my Xbox quite a lot with my mates and my brother.
What
Um,
games are you playing?
oh God, it's Fortnite at the minute.
Oh yeah.
Being a former primary school teacher in the States here as a music teacher, Fortnite was
Oh my
everything.
God, it's just, I
All
love
those
it. And do you know,
stupid dances that the kids would do from Fortnite,
do
flossing
you
and all
know
that
what-
shit.
oh, and do you know what the funny thing is as well? Is that I started playing that game before some of the kids that are playing it now were even born.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm proper. I'm OG man.
Right, right.
Yeah. Well, some of us video games means an Atari 2600 console on an
Yes.
old school TV. You had to hook up everything in the back of the TV, turn to channel
Yeah, and
two.
this one was like a bloody jet engine with a mouse and a keyboard on
Right.
it. That powerful computers. But yeah, no. But I do spend a lot of time just listening to music and just thinking. That's,
What have you been currently listening to? What has inspired you? Anything recent or from the past?
well, do you know what? I have a massively varied music taste. Um, it's Beatles and you know
Yep,
a lot of people, but I have it's varied. You know what I mean? So I listen to quite heavy stuff as well, like some metal. If you know what I mean. I love Black Sabbath. Absolutely love Black
cool.
Sabbath. And I grew up listening
Drummies.
to Green Day as well. Yeah, and I've been getting into some black metal as well recently. I don't know why, but that's coming to the yeah that
Yeah, yeah.
that type of stuff. I just love all different types
We
of
we
music.
can talk metal and we can talk metal off the air because I got finally for my 54th birthday I got to meet Rob Halford from Judas Priest backstage
Oh,
with
nice.
the songwriter who wrote "Some Heads Are Gonna Roll" on the Defenders of the Faith album.
Oh
I had
wow.
I'd interviewed Bob Halligan Jr. Yeah, we can talk off the air about that later. I don't want
Yeah.
to, but I got to meet the guys except for Scott Travis, the drummer. I would a lot of have met him, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I never got into Judas Priest, and to be honest, I couldn't tell you any of the songs, but I do definitely know the name.
Well, they're proper Midlands boys along with Black Sabbath. Those two together.
Same area. Sorry, the
Brummies.
same
They're
time.
Brummies. They're all Brummies. Yep. Rob's from Walsall.
Oh,
Yep.
oh. But it's only
Yeah.
like an hour train for me
Yeah.
to get to.
They did okay for a bunch of yam yams.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, Ellis, I wanted to ask you, what's next? What's coming up for you
Yeah.
in the
When's the
future?
second album coming out, brother?
Well, the first one isn't properly out yet, so I think the first thing is releasing the album.
Yeah.
But I can't say anything. Well, for one, because I don't really know anything.
Okay.
And I don't want to say something I don't mean. Um, but yeah, I think we're just trying to get on the tours, let some more Ocean Colour Scene tours, and just finishing the album. And yeah, just being a musician.
Who would you
Well,
like to open up for next that you haven't opened up for that's out there in the scene?
Coldplay,
I
100%
wow.
Coldplay. I, I think that'd be my dream. They're playing in Hull on the 18th of August, I think it is. Um, so yeah, yeah, I'm gonna blow out a lot of candles whilst wishing that I could play for Coldplay.
Okay.
That's what
We hope
I'm
that
on my
comes
birthday.
true.
that's
Oh, I
all
hope
right.
it does.
Okay, folks. We're back on the air here. So Ellis was so kind to have his Svengali, if you will, Vincent, to try to come back on and try to sort out this noise suppression issue. Apparently, folks, if you have a MacBook of a certain age, it doesn't like to take off the noise suppression part of Zoom. So Jay and I have already had this discussion. Zoom shall be no more. You shall not pass, Zoom. And I said the name this time. Yeah, I know. So, yeah, we're onward and upward. But we appreciate you coming on and talking about you and your career and your growing up, and the fact that your family is kind of like the whole music family dynasty that is. There you go. You can take that. The dynasty, if you will.
So yeah.
It's been
Okay, go ahead, Els.
I said it's been an absolute pleasure, and thank you.
Oh, thanks for coming on, folks. If you like what you heard and saw today, hit the like and subscribe button if you're watching this on YouTube, and hit the like button and subscribe button on any one of the various streaming formats that we are on. And as I always say, a rising tide lifts all boats.
And I want to take this opportunity, Ellis Barraclough, to thank you once again for joining us, taking time out of your schedule. It was our absolute pleasure. I know that we're going to be talking again and seeing each other again. We're wishing you the best, and we know there's going to be big things coming up in your future. And to everyone else, I want to say thank you for tuning into the Electric Vibe and being part of Vibe 25. And remember, when the universe comes knocking, you have to answer that door. Peace.
Peace.